How skin color evolved. The DNA story no one told you. What did the first human skin really look like? Was it pale or dark? 1 million years ago, it wasn't their skin color that mattered. They needed coverage, and fur did the job. Then came a major shift. They started to lose their body hair. Their skin immediately took the hit as sunlight made the heat unbearable. Their bare skin needed backup. That's when melanin stepped in. Now, centuries later, different skin colors exist. Some tan while others burn in minutes. Dark skin is common in one desert, but not another. Why? Well, none of it is random, and DNA has revealed the true evolution of these skin colors. As humans lost body hair, evolution favored dark skin rich in eumelin, not just to stop sunburn, but to protect folate from UV damage. That shift shaped every skin color change that came after. Fast forward to about 40,000 years ago, and another major shift begins. When early humans reached sun-poor Europe, they still had dark skin for thousands of years. Genetic evidence shows that gradual depigmentation didn't happen right away. It was a slow process. Only after the Ice Age, with farming spread, did today's lighter-skinned genes take hold in Europe. The SLC24A5 gene in DNA, responsible for lightening the skin, was carried by early Near Eastern farmers who migrated into Europe and mixed with local hunter-gatherers. East Asia saw a separate light skin path, driven by different genes like OCA2 and SLC45A2. This basically means that light skin didn't come from a single origin. Instead, its origin is from multiple times in different places, triggered by the same evolutionary pressure, the need to make enough vitamin D in regions with weak sunlight. But what about dark skin, you might ask? Well, take a look at the map showing average human skin color across the globe, and you'll notice one basic pattern. Darker skin is near the equator, while lighter skin is near the poles. This makes complete sense. Regions with stronger UV radiation push for darker, melanin-rich skin to protect against damage, while areas with weaker sunlight led to lighter skin to help produce enough vitamin D. But the more you zoom in, the more things get a bit complicated. Africa, for example, isn't one skin tone. West Africans tend to have darker skin, while East Africans, especially in highland regions like Ethiopia or Kenya, often have lighter complexions. This is sometimes due to ancient genetic mixing with Middle Eastern populations. Even within single countries, skin tone can vary, but that is because of thousands of years of migration, adaptation, and isolation. Then there are surprises that defy expectations like the Afroasiatic-speaking peoples of North Africa and the Horn of Africa, who often have lighter brown skin, despite living relatively close to the equator. Not to mention that some of the most unexpected pigmentation combinations show up far from Africa. In the islands of Melanesia, especially in places like the Solomon Islands, you'll find people with very dark skin, similar in tone to many Africans, but bright blonde hair and even blue eyes. You might think these traits are due to European ancestry. They're actually not. The blonde hair is caused by a unique version of the TYRP1 gene in DNA, which affects how eumelin is processed. The blue eyes are linked to other rare gene variants that arose independently in these isolated island populations as a result of local evolution. While DNA testing has helped back up these observations, there's something else that's quite interesting about the relationship between skin color genes and human adaptation. It turns out that the genes controlling your skin color may also influence how well you sleep. Recent studies in genetics and sleep science are revealing a connection between skin pigmentation, light sensitivity, and circadian rhythms, which is simply the internal clock that tells your body when to sleep, eat, and wake. Researchers claim that people with lighter skin, for example, tend to absorb more sunlight through their skin and eyes, which can make them more sensitive to changes in daylight. This may help explain why populations living at high latitudes evolve both lighter skin and unique adaptations in their body clocks. For example, variants in DNA genes like the OCA2 and MC1R have been linked to higher light sensitivity in the retina. meaning people with fair skin may feel more alert during daylight hours, but also more vulnerable to sleep disturbances when light exposure is irregular. This is why fair-skinned people are more prone to jet lag, insomnia, or overstimulation from artificial light. This link also helps explain why a type of depression triggered by low sunlight in winter, called seasonal affective disorder, or SAD for short, is far more common in populations with light skin living in northern climates. The same biological system that helped them thrive with low UV exposure may also make them more vulnerable to mood swings and sleep issues when the sun disappears for weeks or months. Meanwhile, people with darker skin color may fare better during seasonal changes, although they face a higher risk of vitamin D deficiency in low sun regions. Who would have thought that these skin adaptations to hot sun, seasons, and decades-long evolution would lead to one bias: colorism? Psychological research has shown that people with lighter skin are often regarded as more attractive, capable, or socially valuable, while darker-skinned people face unfair assumptions about their beauty, intelligence, or worth. This preference can really affect self-esteem, especially in children and teenagers who grow up internalizing it. In countries like India, Brazil, and the United States, studies show that people with lighter skin often receive better education, earn higher incomes, and have more media representation. While these modern biases have no logical reasoning, you'll be surprised by how they might actually tell of ancient survival pressures. Evolutionary psychology suggests that certain features like clear skin, facial symmetry, and even lighter complexion were sometimes seen as signs of youthfulness, fertility, or perfect health in certain climates or social groups. And those signals became culturally reinforced over generations. While the groups across the globe had these impressions, indigenous communities also developed their own unique ways of understanding how human skin color evolved. In East Africa, for instance, ancient pastoralist groups like the Maasai believe they have different pigmentation gene patterns from neighboring farming communities, with some lighter skin alleles present due to ancient admixture with Middle Eastern populations. These differences don't follow a simple UV exposure rule. Instead, they are linked to lifestyle, diet, and historic migrations. In South America, many indigenous populations live in high-altitude regions like the Andes, where UV exposure is intense despite the latitude. Yet many Andean people have medium-toned skin adapted to that specific environment, and their melanin genes reflect a long, local evolutionary path. In South Asia, groups like the Adivasi, or Dravidian-speaking peoples, often have darker skin than northern populations, but this is not due to recent African ancestry. It's a result of ancient settlement patterns, climate, and genetic drift. We also have Oceania, especially among Melanesian islanders, where we find people with very dark skin and naturally blonde hair or blue eyes, traits that evolved independently and have nothing to do with European contact. Now, the question is, with different skin colors existing, is skin color a race, as some call it? Is white as a skin color a different race from black? Well, despite what many people still believe, race is not a biological category. In reality, it's a social idea built on misinterpretations of visible traits like skin color. Genetic science has made it clear that human variation doesn't fit into racial boxes. In fact, there is often more genetic diversity within a so-called racial group than between them. To better understand this, take, for example, two people from sub-Saharan Africa may be more genetically different from each other than either is from a European or East Asian person. This is why science is convinced that skin color is just one trait among thousands, influenced mostly by the environment and a handful of certain DNA genes related to the melanin production. It doesn't tell you anything about a person's intelligence, moral values, culture, or human ability. This, and to fully understand the diversity and evolution of the different skin color genes, is why scientists are now exploring skin color on a level we couldn't imagine even a decade ago, thanks to breakthroughs in fields like epigenetics, gene-environment interaction, and skin microbiome research. If you enjoyed this exploration of skin color and the related DNA genes, then hit the like button and let us know your thoughts in the comments. To stay updated on more ancient history and recent impressive DNA analysis on these ancient people, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our next videos.